This is All Things Ansys, a podcast from the technical support staff at PADT. Episode 64. We learn more about the upcoming Ansys Online User Conference, Simulation World, and share news and events from around the Ansys world. Welcome. I'm Eric Miller, one of the owners of PADT, and I want to thank you for tuning in to our podcast. I'm still working from home, although we are prepping PADT's Tempe office for any employees that want to work part-time or full-time there instead of at home. They can come in and do that. We're seeing some of our customers return, but mostly those were kind of what I kind of consider almost essential, right? They weren't essential business and they weren't non-essential. They were kind of in the middle. And so they're starting to go back to work. And also a lot of companies where the engineers in particular are working closer with manufacturing because manufacturing probably never went home. Hopefully all of you have stayed safe and are working away on your various Ansys products, getting work done from a safe location, either in the office or at home. And maybe hopefully a small part of life is returning to normal. We'll see. Today, we're going to talk about one of the positives of this whole pandemic thing. And one is that Ansys is going to have their first global online user group meeting. And we are lucky enough to have the Chief Marketing Officer from Ansys, Lynn Ledwith, to fill us in on all the details. We're super excited about this event. And well, I want to say more, but I don't want to steal Lynn's thunder. Let her tell us. Well, I want to welcome everybody for another interview today. I'm with Lynn Ledwith, who is from Ansys and is going to talk to us today about something that, if you're a regular listener, you know we've been excited about, our first virtual user conference, Simulation World, which is coming up really quick here. So, Lynn, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Eric.
I really appreciate it. So we always like to start with a little bit of an introduction. So I'm curious as to, let everybody know what you do at Ansys and then what your journey was to get to the world of simulation.
Absolutely. So again, Lynn Ledwith, I head up the marketing organization at Ansys. Been with the company for a little under a year. Exciting time to be at the organization. Exciting time to be rolling out a new brand, which hopefully many of your listeners have seen, just a new look to the company. We have new messaging that's rolling out, and it's our 50th anniversary. So we're excited to be doing a whole bunch of new marketing, including Simulation World. So we're in the same boat as everybody in a global pandemic, and we needed to pivot and make sure that we could engage with our customer base, inspire them, let them know about new use cases of how to use simulation. So hence Simulation World was born, and we're moving as fast as we can in order to get ready.
I love it. And I, for one, am a huge fan of the new branding because not only does it look cooler and more modern, but I don't know how long I've shortened my life by having to hold down the shift key and type Ansys all caps and then forget to do it and go back and fix it. So we're a big fan.
It's a nice change. Thank you.
and I do think it really, what I love about it is and we talked about it on the podcast when it came out, is it reflects the legacy, but is still new and fresh. So
absolutely, it's the same A. Just kind of gave it a pop of color.
Yeah.
And moving from the all caps to the moving from an acronym,
right.
Ansys combined to the Ansys, so it becomes sort of like Epcot Center. Where
right.
It becomes a noun now. So.
Which we love. We think it's great. So, but let's talk about Simulation World. So,
sure.
You already talked about how it was kind of came out of the response to COVID-19. How did you decide to go virtual? What was the decision process there? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do this, and it looks like if people have been on the website, which is simulation-world.com, you can see it's quite a nice platform, even before we even get into it.
So actually the impetus and the beauty of Simulation World is that it's co-located with LS Dyna. So LS Dyna is a new member to the Ansys family, and they had been doing a large user conference every year. This would have been the 16th year doing it face-to-face in Detroit. And we needed to come up with a solution to get those customers together. And we thought, hey, if we're going to do it for LS Dyna, we might as well open it up for all of our physics and all of our different product platforms. So the beauty of Simulation World is you get a 2-for-1. So if you're interested in finite element analysis, you can have access to LS Dyna and everything LS Dyna oriented directly from Simulation World as well. So kind of stemmed out the need for something else, and transformed into something even better.
That's great. I did not know that. I that's fantastic. I'm a huge LS Dyna user and fan from before it was LS Dyna, when it was Dyna 3D, and we've been waiting for Ansys to acquire them from day one, and we're so excited about it. This is just another reason why it's a great acquisition. Love them and love their software. So why don't you tell users how they sign up, and is there a cost? I mean, what's the whole process like?
Yeah, so if you go to, you can either get to the URL that you mentioned, which is simulation-world, or you can now even go to simulationworld.com.
Okay.
And you'll see a registration button. And when you register there, we will send you anywhere from a couple hours before the event to a day before the event access to the platform. So we are using a third-party platform, which is pretty cool. There will be a lot of interaction that you'll be able to participate in fireside chats and product demos and interact with some of the speakers live. We will be doing it across 3 different time zones, which will be great. So if you go to simulationworld.com, there's a button there that's pretty in your face that says register, and there's no cost to attend. And then since it is across 2 days and we have a lot of great content, so it will go on demand after the fact as well. So if you see a session and you've got a couple sessions and the times are conflicting, you can come back on at a later date and see the session of your choice.
That is one of the advantages of this virtual conferences, because I'm always one of those people that stand in the hallway looking at my schedule going, I want to go to this presentation, I want to go to that presentation. They're always at the same time. So that's fantastic that we can do that. Very, very good news. So that's how they sign up and everything. And you mentioned that it's a third-party platform. And is it going to be just speaking, or you mentioned demos, and what kind of content are you going to be providing?
Yeah, so we have a number of different tracks and a number of different types of sessions. So we have even an executive track that will have a whole bunch of keynotes from some customers. And, we'll have Cummins and Honeywell and Microsoft and Stanley Blacker and Ericsson and Intel and Baker Hughes and Porsche and Volkswagen, Ferrari. I mean, we have some great customers that are going to be sharing their inspiration and how they use simulation to impact and accelerate their product design and development. So we have a whole keynote track, and then we have a number of different breakout sessions across specific topics or specific physics. So if you go out to Simulation World and you click on the agenda, you'll be able to see the types of contents and how you can sort and filter to see which session might be of interest to you. The fantastic news is for Simulation World alone, we have more than 175 sessions from more than 100 different speakers, both Ansys and our partners, as well as our customers will be presenting. And then for LS Dyna, same sort of thing. We've got over 120 sessions and, close to 100 speakers at LS Dyna as well. So a really, really robust program. You're going to find some content that's absolutely going to be of interest to you.
That's fantastic. That is a lot more than I thought. that is a lot of great speakers. So the agenda looks like the keynotes are up. Are all the speakers up, or is that still not available?
Yeah, all the speakers are up pretty much for Simulation World. And then the agenda right now, again, as I mentioned, we will be running this across 3 different time zones. So whether or not you're in North America or EMEA or APAC, you'll be able to find a live time zone. So by the end of this week, you'll be able to go out there and actually start to build your own agenda so you can add things to your calendar. So we'll have the date and times and add the calendar functionality on the site. I would say by June 1st of next week, we are moving fast and furious.
I was going to say the amount of work that you guys have put in such a short period of time for such a big event is pretty phenomenal. It's pretty amazing how many people you've put together and not a lot of time. So congrats on that.
Well, the response, has been overwhelming. We weren't quite sure what type of customer engagement we were going to get to participate in this event with us. But as you can see, just from the number of sessions and speakers, the response has been phenomenal. And unfortunately, we've even had to turn away a number of really amazing presentations. We're just really overwhelmed with response, but it's going to be great for your audience in particular, right? Yeah,
we're excited about it. We love content, and our users love to just see what other people are doing, and how they're using the software to solve different problems, and it's fantastic. It's the entire. So LS Dyna has its own track, but it's the entire Ansys product family, right? There's no areas of the software that aren't going to be covered. It looks pretty comprehensive.
Yes, all areas, all physics, and even some of the up and coming trends. So autonomous electrification, 5G, digital twin, Internet of Things. We have a lot of different inspirational tracks as well.
Yeah, it's if you do go to the website and take a look at the agenda, it's by topic or it's by industry. It's pretty cool. I'm fixated on hearing the guys from Ferrari speak. I just love what they do from an engineering standpoint and how they use Ansys. It's phenomenal. Which speaker are you most looking forward to hearing from?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think just really we have a couple of customers that are going to be doing some panel presentations too. So we have Kate Russell, who's actually from BBC. She's going to be moderating a panel presentation, which I just think is really timely around COVID, right? And what some of our customers have been doing, how they've been faring, how they've been fueling their, repurposing some of their factories and whatnot to design respirators and whatnot. So I think that's going to be a really cool topic, and to have it moderated by a newscaster, I think is going to be a really cool session.
I mean, a professional. Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be one of my favorites as well. And in fact, that was our last podcast was on Ansys usage for COVID-19, and had Thierry and Mark Horner on to talk about some of the things customers are doing, but it's better to see it. So definitely people should show up for that panel to see what people are doing and hear their questions. I think it's really great. Anything else? Go ahead.
Emirates too. I think they just have a great story as they're prepping for the America's Cup race next year. That how they have been using simulation is pretty fascinating. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. And just to mention that other URL. So this is so simulationworld.com. But just if anybody wants to check out, there is lsdynaconference.com, in which you can go to. So it's not cross-linked right now because we thought it would be a little confusing for registration. If you register for LS Dyna, you're pretty much in the LS Dyna track. You can, but if you register for Simulation World, you get access to both. And we just needed to keep them separate just to make registration a little bit more intuitive. But if you wanted to go and check out the agenda and the speakers, it's slightly behind getting online to Simulation World, but I would say by June 1st, you'll be able to see the full breadth of the speakers and the agenda for LS Dyna Conference as well.
Cool. Very good. Okay. That's good to know. It's a lot of balls to juggle. I can't even imagine. And there's another thing that I'll promote is there's booths for sponsors, and PADT has been invited to be a sponsor for the event, and we will have a virtual booth, which is a new experience for us. And so I do encourage folks to stop by. I think some of the other Ansys partners, both hardware, software, and reseller and consulting, and et cetera, have virtual booths. So that's this will be my first virtual conference. So it'll be interesting to try that out.
So the virtual booths will be great. You'll be able to have a virtual briefcase too. So if you have some white papers or things like that you want to gather, you can put them in a virtual briefcase and then email the information to yourself, the links. So a lot of exciting things and interaction. There are lounges. So if you can see who's in a session with you, and if you're like, oh my gosh, I'd really like to talk to this person, you can strike up a conversation if somebody asks a great question, and then you can go and meet in the lounge afterwards and then interact. So there will be a lot of options for interactivity. And we also have some games going on. So who doesn't love some swag and some prizes, right? Good. So so you have the opportunity. The more booths you go and visit, the more people you interact with, the more sessions you see. It's all based on some points, and we're going to have some really great prizes to give away at the conference as well.
That is fantastic. We've been trying to figure out, we always hand out gummy bears in our booth. So we've been trying to figure out how to do that virtually. So we may just have, maybe that'll be just something we'll just talk about.
Show pictures of.
Yeah, I usually eat half of them anyway. So, so that's good. Is there anything else you want the Ansys community to know about this fantastic event?
No, just, we hope that you come out and check it out and have the opportunity to get inspired and ask questions and interact with peers. We just are hoping to get the whole community together and, have a great conference.
I appreciate that. I think it's going to be good, and it'll be a great event. And we look forward to learning how to do these things, because I think even after COVID-19 goes away, I think this is an interesting platform for many of us who like to learn but can't necessarily justify the travel expense. This is going to be an interesting experiment that hopefully will turn into more ways to strengthen the community.
Yeah, well, we've had phenomenal response. We have more than 20,000 people registered so far. Wow. And we anticipate those numbers will continue to go up over the next couple of weeks, especially in advance of the conference. So you're going to be in great company, right? Good. Lots of great peers to network with. And it's going to be one of those can't miss conferences. So we're very excited about it.
This will be one of the things that you young listeners will tell. When you're old like me, you'll tell new young people. I remember when I went to the first Ansys Simulation World. So, like we talk about the old Pittsburgh conferences with John Swanson. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you're really busy, and I'm sure you got a lot to do. So I really appreciate your time, and we look forward to virtually seeing you in June 10th and 11th.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having us, and hopefully we'll see you online at the conference.
You will. Thank you, Lynn.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. I learned some things, as you can tell, that I didn't know. So that's why I always love to have Ansys people on. We always learn some new things. The first thing you need to do as soon as you get in front of a computer or your phone is go to simulation-world.com and sign up and register if you've not already. Also make note of PADT's virtual booth, and please do stop by and leave us a message. We'll have people staffing it through the entire event. And also our consulting team is hosting a virtual booth as well. That link will be in the standard booth. You'll be able to go to a landing page about simulation consulting. And from there, you can actually go and talk to us. We'll be sitting around and we'll have a Teams meeting up all day, or both days actually. And people can stop by and say hi and ask us questions or just talk. The other thing we're going to be doing special for the event is an after party. So on the 11th, the second day of the event, at 5:30 Eastern, which is 2:30 Pacific in Arizona time, we're going to be having basically a big Zoom meeting. Everyone is invited to come and talk. We'll have some breakout rooms set up as well if people want to go off and chat in smaller groups. We're going to give it a try, see how this virtual thing works. You can register for our after party at www.padtinc.com/SWAP. So that stands for Simulation World After Party. So kept it simple. So padtinc.com/swap. Go there, fill out the form. The link is there, so you can just grab the link and come to the meeting. Or if you give us your email, we will send you an invite so you don't forget. So please do that. And if you give us your email, we'll also have some prize drawings as well live at the event. So we'll give it a try. I don't know how it's going to work. We'll give it a try. It's time for a commercial. Please consider PADT as your Ansys supplier if you're in the southwestern U.S. or for simulation consulting and customization anywhere in the world. We're also just as good at additive manufacturing and product development, so give us a try. We love what we do, and our customers tell us that we are good at it. these times are difficult and you may be facing some challenges you never expected, PADT is here to help. We have not slowed down, and we can assist with simulation, customization, product development, testing, scanning, and 3D printing. So please do reach out. Go to our website, padtinc.com, or send an email to info@padtinc.com, and we will reach back. News-wise, let's talk about the Ansys stock, ANSS. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon, 5/29/2020, and it is, I can't believe this, back up to $283 a share. So year to date, since January 1, the S&P is down really, when you think about what's going on, only 5.89% for the year, and Ansys is up 10.13%. So that's just $16 below their all-time high of, $299. So congratulations to everybody in the Ansys world for making that happen. That's pretty significant. There's not any real news to share either from Ansys or PADT. On the Ansys blog, I only got two articles. I think everybody's off busy getting ready for Simulation World, so there wasn't as much content as usual. But the first one that is kind of near and dear to our heart, because we've really worked with a couple of our customers on this, and it's on this topic. This is an article we wrote, but it's called 5 Best Practices for Gas Turbine Combustor Meshing. So if you've ever worked on combustors, doing CFD and combustion simulation, you know that the mesh is everything. It's a big time sink, and it really drives the quality and the speed of your results. So they give 5 really practical and useful bits of information, and share how one particular customer got a 20x improvement or reduction in the amount of time it took to mesh. So 20 times faster to mesh. Their solve times went down from 30 to 50% because they had a more efficient mesh, and they got better results because they had the right mesh in the right place. So I really recommend you check that out. The other, if you do any kind of meshing whatsoever, the other article that's worth sharing is called Can Ultraviolet UV Light Disinfect and Fix the PPE Shortage? I actually read that wrong. Can ultraviolet light disinfection fix the PPE shortage? So as you know, one of the issues is when you wear any kind of face covering or special safety equipment, it can get contaminated with the virus, and ultraviolet light can kill viruses. So they use some of the Ansys tools, I think Speos in particular, which we talked about in the podcast 2 weeks ago. Definitely check that out. It's very interesting and how it works. And, when people are spouting off about disinfecting and things like that, you might have some ammunition to get into the discussion. We did post 2 articles, and we have one more coming to our Ansys blog, to the PADT blog. The first is one that we put out from our project management or consulting group called 5 Questions We Can Ask Before Preparing. We ask before preparing a CFD consulting quote. So the idea here is to speed up the amount of time that it takes to get a quote out to somebody. We came up with 5 questions that we always ask. And if we get that information succinctly and quickly, we can get a better and faster quote out. So check that out. Even if you're not doing CFD simulation, it'll help you if you outsource any kind of work, especially simulation work. The second one was called Advanced Capabilities to Consider When Simulating Blow Molding in Ansys Polyflow or Discovery AIM. So many people don't realize that Ansys can be used to model blow molding. So you have a thin piece of material and you inflate it and it pushes up against the mold. It's pretty cool stuff. There's a neat animation in there. Do check that out. We've got another one coming out on a couple days. I think on Tuesday it'll go out about using OptiSlang and IcePack together. So look for that. We'll talk about that in the next podcast. Event-wise, we've got 3 set up for June. One is an Arizona one. It's called the Arizona Space Business Roundtable. Is the group that I'm going to be speaking in front of, and it's our first virtual meeting for that group. And it's about moving from prototyping to flight hardware, additive manufacturing in Arizona aerospace. So we're going to talk about how people are using 3D printing to make parts that they can actually fly into the air or space. The other is, then we have a webinar coming up. So the talk that I'm giving on 3D printing is actually on the 2nd of June. On the 3rd of June, the next day, we're doing a webinar talking about what we talked about in the last podcast, fighting COVID-19 with Ansys simulation. You'll be able to see some of the animations. And there's been some new studies released since we did the podcast. So check that out. And of course, the big event of the month and the one that we're most excited about is on the 10th and 11th is Simulation World. And with that, we will wrap up this podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to PADT's emails at www.padtinc.com/opt-in. Register for Simulation World at simulation-world.com, and for PADT's after party at padtinc.com/swap. Spread the word about the podcast and don't hesitate to reach out. Stay smart, safe, healthy, and then productive. Thank you for joining us for the All Things Ansys podcast, episode 64. As a reminder, this podcast is not affiliated in any way with Ansys Inc., and the opinions expressed are those of the people on the show only and not of their current or former employers. For more information, visit www.padtinc.com/blog, and please share your thoughts and questions through an email to podcast@padtinc.com. See you next time.